Hello and welcome. I'm absolutely delighted to be here today with my superstar guest, Mr. Marcus Nanson,
Hello.
owner of NGR Resourcing. We're super excited to be here with you. So we have invited Marcus to come on today. We want to share the story of how he has scaled his recruitment business in the last 9 months. So this includes moving from a solo recruiter to establishing a team, restructuring the way he services his clients and candidates. And also he's going to be sharing with you about some systems and processes that he has put into place that have made incredible changes, mindset changes, life changes for Marcus. So rather than me talk too much, I'm going to dive straight in so we maximize our time together here today, Marcus. So first of all, would you mind telling our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I have a mortgage broker specific recruitment company. When I joined you guys, it was just myself. My partner had worked with me previously, but she's gone off to do work in the kind of a charity recruitment kind of sector. And yeah, like I said, we're a niche business. We've got an office, but we do most of our stuff from home. And yeah, that's the kind of the crux of it, really. And do you want to know why I spoke to you guys and what was the issue?
Yeah, please. Yeah, why not?
Coming out of the COVID situation, the initial pandemic, we didn't have a great year. And I just kind of lost my love of recruitment, really. I'd lost the interest. We were running a steady business, normal roller coaster business. So we could make money. We won't make money the next month. We'll make a decent amount, but nothing kind of steady. And I could have carried on doing that for a long time, just that was the nature of that. It paid the mortgage and that kind of thing. But I started speaking to you guys, so probably 9-10 months ago. And I just needed that kind of, that kickstart, really, that kind of mindset shift and that kind of thing. And since I've been speaking to you, it's gone, from strength to strength. And it's a completely different business now. And the most important thing is I love it again, I love the recruitment, I love the business. I love the people I'm working with, which is, super important. We get to choose that now, so that's fantastic.
Absolutely. So let's go back to that time. Can you remember specifically what were some of the things that weren't necessarily working for you at that point?
For me, if I'm honest, just massively conscious of being underachieving for what I could do.
Yeah,
that's a huge thing for me, and I always hid that as like, well, I like doing the school run. I don't need to earn loads more money. I'm actually really great, and I am grateful for every own cost. So I'm not overly materialistic, but it's very easy to hide behind that. Because in the truth, if I actually looked at it, I was underachieving, and that was I wasn't happy with that. And that's more important to me than money, was the fact that I was kind of wasting something that I'm really good at and hiding behind the fact that, it's a lifestyle business. That's the way we run it. Now, hopefully that resonates with some people, because I genuinely think that's a load of us that have that. We hide behind that excuse. We like it. It's a nice lifestyle, but it's more about challenging myself. I was bored. I wasn't happy being, like I said, underachieving, under, and also not giving a good enough service because you're doing it, because you don't love something, it's next to impossible to be brilliant at it.
Yeah, it's so true, actually. It's interesting you should say that, because it's a top achiever trait, in fact, that wanting to develop yourself, like you're saying, not necessarily always about the money. That's a sort of like, if you like, an output of.
Don't get me wrong, I do not like money. It was much more important. The reason I came to you wasn't really about, it wasn't financial gain. It was getting better. I just needed to get better. Otherwise, I was just going to do another 10 years of being exactly the same. I don't think mentally I could have stood that for another, 6 months.
Yeah. And what were some of the things then for you, like on a day-to-day basis? What impact was it having on the actual business, like being in that sort of mental state?
In that mindset, I mean, I've always said, and I kind of hid behind that as well, like I'm better off when I don't make money. So then I work really hard and then I do it. And that's not true. You just tell yourself that. So you get a roller coaster. So we would have the good months and then we'd rock back on it and we'd really want to work. But if you're not motivated to do it, because I didn't have any processes in place, so there was nothing to fall back on. It was literally that roller coaster, and that's just, and then I built up in my head that was true. That's what recruitment was. That's just it. Everyone is, best one's 10 grand, worst one's nothing, and that's how you go through that. That's just recruitment, because that's what everyone does. But actually, after speaking to you guys and stuff, it's not true. It's just
And it's easy, isn't it? When you're at that point, it's actually quite easy to almost allow that monkey, the monkey mind, and tell you and to buy into that
Oh
story.
yeah, 100%. I wasn't thinking I was lying to myself. I just thought that, it's only after you look back and think, I mean, you must, a part of you knows that you're, because you're the feeling side of things, but yeah, it's not, it's so easy to lie to yourself, isn't it? So easy to lie and say, I'm happy with this. And then it's only when you look back and go, God, what were you doing? Like, I wish I'd done this 10 years ago.
Yeah. And what was your revenue back then? Or you don't have to give necessarily specifics.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind it. On good months, like I said to you at the beginning, I was a 10 grand recruiter. That's what I expected. That's a decent month. And working on your own. But that, you also get, 2 months of the year where I wasn't working and you still had holidays and stuff. And so it ebbed and flowed. But that's top end. So other months, if you're earning 5, it covers your wages, covers your outgoing. So that's not a good place to be every month.
No, but it's interesting, isn't it? Because like you're saying, there are a lot of recruitment business owners. That's the sort of expectation of their team, isn't it? 10K, that's kind of what we're aiming for everybody to be doing.
Yeah, and that's not bad if it's consistent and you're happy with it and that kind of thing. But it's under what I need to do. And I had to work really hard for that, and stupidly hard because I was doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
So that's the difference as well.
Okay. So talk to us about what was the first thing when you came into, because like you're saying, you joined the Rocket program 9 months ago and started on that. What was the first thing that you actioned or implemented?
First thing was we took on board that we hadn't got any processes in place. Or I hadn't one time, because it was just me, wasn't it? So it was kind of good. It started from scratch, really. I said this before, and I say it all the time, that I've been in recruitment for 10, 11 years. It feels like I've been doing it for a year, 9 months. So because I taught myself as well, because I come from finance and that's what I recruit into. But yeah, it was the whole recruitment process, really, just learning. Do you know what? I had on my phone the other day, I'd listened to me interviewing someone from 2017, because it was stuck around. I didn't realize how bad I was. The really obvious stuff like the listening and empathizing and stuff, and genuinely being interested, because I've always loved financial services. That wasn't the problem. It's just I didn't really understand. I thought it was find a job, stick an advert on, find a candidate, and it was so transactional. And then we've gone through this journey where if you treat people as a transaction, that's exactly how they treat you. And that's why I couldn't work out why I was doing a great job for someone and they were not coming back. It's that kind of thing. So all of that was a realization. But I mean, I couldn't even tell you the first thing, to be honest with you, just because there's so much. I learned so much so quickly that, I put the systems. I mean, number one, we had to put some systems in place and learn what I was doing with my time as well. Actually, was really important.
Okay. So let's take those two things. So with the time and learning what you were doing with the time, what are you doing now that perhaps you weren't doing back then?
Yeah. So what we established very quickly was that I was wasting loads of time doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, that doesn't make as much money as I do when I'm in my flow. I use it in my flow now, like it's natural talk. Like I didn't talk about it. You know what I mean? But it's true. I was out of flow because I'm best on the phone, talking to customers, going out to seeing people, developing the business. That's me being good. And then I'm spending 3 or 4 hours a day on job boards, which was crazy. Now I look at it, how silly that is to kind of waste time. So kind of not going too deep into it. We go through exactly how we spent every hour with you guys. And then, you say, where are you best placed? Then we work it out. And then everything we're not good at, we shift out, get it done by somebody who's better at it than you. Number one, they're more efficient, and then it's not costing you your hours. So
yeah. And as a solo recruiter, sometimes just thinking about, some people might be thinking, well, I haven't got anyone to do that with.
Yeah, and that's the first fear, because we never had lots of money. So first fear is, well, that's easy. I mean, you changed my mindset in regard. One of the most important things is when I get this, I'll do that. And then it never works because you never do it. It's like at the right time to have children, it's never a good time.
Yeah.
So what you actually do is, I'm going to do this and it's going to produce that. And that mindset flip completely turned on its head. So then we outsourced lots of the business that we don't need to be working on. I keep saying we, because my partner came back from the business, because that's my kind of, I reignited my passion for it. She wanted to be involved in it again, which is brilliant, because we both work on 2 sides of the business. That's why I keep saying we, by the way. So I was a solo recruiter when we started. But yeah, it's just that mindset flip of people saying that, you can't afford it. You can. I mean, you afford it because you do it. It just...
Right. And it's the results it gets you, isn't it? Because
100%,
yeah, it's like you're saying, it's going back to that fear, isn't it? Of, I'm okay in my comfort zone. I'm doing my 10K a month, etc.
It's survival, isn't it? So it's your survival instinct of going, you'll find this. Because the comfort zone thing was, I was so comfortable. I've been sat, when I sat on the same couch for 8 years, I was comfortable with my job, but actually I'm so much better outside my comfort zone. Just needed to kick the out of there.
Yeah. But, for a solo recruiters, it's quite a lonely place though, isn't it? So it's, it's like, if somebody's hearing this, they might be thinking, yeah, I hear that, I get that, but I'm here on my own. I haven't got somebody to help me because to work outside your comfort zone, you almost need somebody to be that catalyst of, look, you can do this, because otherwise it is very easy, like you're saying, isn't it, to go, okay,
no one helps me accountable. No one's held me accountable for 10 years. It's easy to go, I can lie to myself and say it's good, because it doesn't matter, because no one else then stops. Having you guys there, obviously holding me accountable for stuff is a difference, because whether someone's been doing what they should be doing, and you can see it in us, can't you, whether we're implementing the changes that we say we're going to implement, and that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely solo recruiters, it feels like you're part of a team again,
Yeah, and I think that's, that is very important for people to, when they feel quite isolated and they don't have that support system. But also it's like, if you want to get good at a particular sport, it's like having a coach.
Yeah.
Really takes you to the next level and so on, doesn't it? Okay, so just let's go back to those processes and systems then, Marcus. So what's one of the processes that you've put into place in the business?
Okay, so probably the most important process that we've put in was mapping out the candidate journey, and that seemed like, what a waste of time if I'd said it before, because there's no candidates on the market, there's a candidate market. We have an influx of candidates that I can't say that a lot of recruiters do at the moment. I speak to a few recruiters and try to avoid them as much as I can, but you do speak to a few, and it's so easy, isn't it, because candidate-driven marketing. Actually, once you map out the reasons why candidates will come back to you, you map out that journey, and then you look at the touch points that, why they haven't been coming back. And then, so now I'm looking back and of course they weren't coming back to me. I didn't add any touch points. I wasn't adding any value. I was just getting them a job, which is, post an advert. That's the most transactional thing you can do. But now we look at it completely different as to how we can add value to that journey for them. And as cheesy as that sounds, that's up to our business massively.
So let's dive into that a bit more, because this is really important. Like you're saying, it's top on people's agenda now, isn't it? If you're running a recruitment business, probably the biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenges you have right now, is that flow of candidates. And we're not just talking about, being able to talk to candidates. We're actually talking about a consistent flow of the avatar candidates that that your clients will bite your arm off for, but that consistent flow of those people coming in on a week by week basis. So this is what we talk about when we talk about that attraction machine, isn't it? The 4 recruitment machines: your attraction machine, your conversion machine, your delivery machine, your economic machine. So the attraction machine with the candidates, which is what you're talking about here, which you've implemented. So tell us what you did previously before you got this machine working.
I mean, previously I wouldn't even look at people on the CRM system, which now blows my mind. So it was literally like you had to find new people all the time. Like I said, it was a transaction every time. So someone gave me a job, I had to go on job boards, I had to phone, I still do all the phoning, I still do the referring stuff. I don't tend to use the job boards as much now, but now we just have things in place where we are making sure we're keeping in contact with people. We're making sure referral systems are in place. In between, we do quite a lot of content for places where our candidates would be. So to us now, which is great, we don't tend to have to phone out as much as we did, because they want to be associated with you because you're doing the right thing. And stupidly, we'd always known that we had that ability because I'm from that industry. I get it. And then I wasn't delivering anything apart from a transactional, do you want this job? I mean, we don't even have a job in mind when we speak to people now. We're just so much more open. And obviously you taught us that in regards to, making sure that we've got the cat, because I wasn't listening, because I had a job I wanted to fill to make money. But now we've got a longer term plan with everyone. You know, we want to make sure they're in the right job. That's going to increase retention. That's going to add more value. And then, you know, the money thing is just a reward at the end of it.
Right, exactly. And so what you're talking about here, that nurture sequence is like it's a strategy, isn't it? It's a process that is in place, a touch point process that means that those candidates really get that consistent contact and engagement with you, which is innovative. But the most important thing is that from what you're saying, you're talking to them about the things that they want to actually hear about. So
it's got to be relevant to them. It's got to be relevant to your market. You've got to forget about recruitment. That's what we had to get out of our head. Like, I'm a mortgage broker recruiter, so forget recruitment. Financial services is where my bag is, and I can talk about that all day long. And that in turn, they remember you for that. Anyone can recruit. I don't mean disparaging what we do, but I mean, anyone can do that basic, the technical 3 things that we do. But not everyone can add so much value that people come to you every time, I think. And that's, you know, that's a massive learning thing that we picked up over the last 9 months.
So we're talking about the candidate attraction machine. Yeah. What's that enabled you to do?
Obviously fill the jobs, but longer term, we have got a candidate pool of people that want to speak to us.
Right.
So we're not thinking about the jobs we're looking at now. We're thinking about 12 months time. Every time we speak to someone at the moment, we never even considered long-term candidates. We would like, if you're not making money for us at the moment, we'll stick you on a database, we'll find you somewhere. And that's wrong. So even the success we've had in these 9 months is nothing compared to what we will have in 12 months time, because all of the work we're doing now is for that, it's for the future. So we were far too present on what can we make now? And that's fair enough. I understand why people do it. We need to make money. And every month I need to make 10K. I've got 4 children and a big mortgage. You know, I still need to make money. But actually, when you've got that flow, everything else sort of falls into place. So you don't have to worry about that. So you can look at longer term. And once you've got the process in place, you know, you are going to get people long term. You're going to get candidates that actually come to you much further down the line.
Well, you're absolutely right, because people buy on experience nowadays, don't they? And I think candidates have got, I mean, just generally in the way of marketing and the way of how we consume, you know, how we buy as consumers, who we are, we are buying based more on authenticity, aren't we? And the experience that we have with somebody. So they've got wise to the fact of, well, no, you can't just, you know, call me up and expect me to want to have a chat with you. And
people wouldn't answer when you go, I've got a job I want to talk to you about. Like, because they don't care what you want to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know, that's again, it's a mindset flip, isn't it? Actually, you need to speak to people about what they want, and then, you know, it's something fantastic. But
yeah, you got to care. There has to be a reason. It's what's in it for them, isn't it? It's not about you as the individual. But I think you know, it'd be fair for me to say, and particularly in this community, because I think the people that are in this community, I know that the people that are in this community care about their clients, they care about their customers. They're not doing recruitment because they want to make a fast buck, and they're actually here because they want to change the way recruitment is done. Whereas when I first joined recruitment, I don't know if this was the same for you, Marcus, but you know, 20 years ago, it wasn't quite like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's changed so much. It's changing year on year, but you're right, because the way people buy for you now and the way people are interested in what you can do for them, it's completely turned on its head. Hopefully, I mean, it would be amazing if recruitment got rid of that kind of stigma of what people think we are. I still speak to brokers who are like, you know, about stealing candidates back and stuff. You kind of have to build that back up, because it's been destroyed over the years, because we were quite a hustler business, you know?
Yeah, we definitely were. You know, there's no doubt about it. But you know, unfortunately, you know, say leopard can't change its spots, but I think we're tarnished with that, aren't we? And so it is important that we act with integrity now, because that's what's going to make the difference. So what's one other system or process, or what's something that you've implemented that's been a real game changer for you?
Yeah, so something massively that we've implemented is that we don't negotiate with fees, and we only work with customers who share the same values as us. And again, if you said that to me a year ago, I'd be like, that is airy, that's hippie stuff, like work with people to make you money. But it's not. We're so much better with people that value us. And that the fee thing isn't about the money. It's about, you don't value me So how can I fully commit to you if you're not fully committed to me? And even on a subconscious level, if someone's moaning about your money, then they don't value you, then you're not going to do the same service. So we are very strict on who we work with now. And when you first told me that about turning down business, that blew my mind because, you know, I'm still a salesman at heart. And like, it broke my heart. I said, I think it was week 2. And you said, this is just like a, you know, this is a universal kind of karma test that turned that business away. And excuse me, I did. And then because I got 3 decent, you know, companies off the back of it, I do genuinely believe that the more kind of you turn away, because there is business that, you know, that business is going to be scooped up by someone. You know, there's a place for everyone in it, but it's not yours. Move along and more will come your way. And it has. Like we deal with kind of, I love picking up the phone to customers. It made me think the other day, actually, I was going into London on the train and I remember that horrible pit in my stomach feeling I used to get, thinking I'm going to go picture in front of someone, doesn't really want me there. They've probably forgotten I'm coming. Like that. And I was absolutely filled with like gratitude that I've got to London, and I loved it because I was going to see people that want to speak to me. And I already had this one. They already shared the same values. I don't have to pitch anymore because it's not really a pitch. It's just, they know when they speak to us that we're authentic and we can do the job. And so there's very little of that kind of recruitiness that we have to go through anymore. So it's a completely different feeling.
So what helped you to get that clarity? What was the exercise that you did or the specifics that you did that got you that clarity?
I never know which one it is that gets it. Because I said to my partner the other day, like, how do we get here? Like, when was it? You know, because it's the compound effect, isn't it? It's the one, because we were getting a little bit better at everything. And I can't put my finger on it and say, oh, do you know what really helped? Because everything we've done, we implement everything. Number one is you can't just come on and say, right, you make my recruitment company better. You've got to want it.
Yes.
And you've got to change your mindset as to be. I mean, I always feel like I've been pretty coachable anyway from like sport and stuff, but you've got to buy in. You've got to buy into it. You can't just go, well, this doesn't work, because it won't work. If you don't think it does, you'll be right. But yeah, like to put one system in place is really hard because it's sort of all of a sudden, through the 1% has just gone through the roof. And I don't know when it happened.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, it is that because one of a big thing that we teach you guys, or that is a principle of the whole of Rocket, is that marginal gains, is that compound growth effect. It's the 1% that makes, you know, you tweak this by 1%, you tweak that by 1%, and you're constantly compound growth making those changes. And then all of a sudden, you know.
Well, I think I was talking with you guys this morning about tweaking business plans, and we put 2 tweaks in that doubles the revenue. 2 tiny tweaks, and they are they're things that are achievable. And then we know we're not doing stupid, ridiculous goals, but we're talking about 2 tiny things that we know should have done already. Implement them, concentrate on that for the year, and you double your revenue. That blows my mind. That a year ago I would never have even, you know, I would have thought you were crazy.
No, exactly. But it's achievable. And this is the thing. So what Marcus is talking about here is what we call our profit levers. And we actually go through a process with you where we look, and it is about numbers, isn't it, Marcus?
Yeah.
It is
all numbers, all
data. But we can spot where those areas are. And then it's like, okay, what do we need to do? We just like tweak this little area by tiny. Somebody, it's like 1%, 0%. And as you say, it can make a big difference. And then it's how behind that.
Yep. 0.6% of one of our things is what we're changing. We're changing by a couple of $100,000. It's crazy.
That's amazing. And what will that give to you next year?
Oh, I don't want to put, just in case anyone checks next year, I don't want to make sure I do it, but a lot. It makes a big difference. It's an incredible amount. Something I wouldn't have dreamt of before.
Yeah. Well, it's coming your way.
Hundreds of thousands, yeah. And it is 100% coming, yeah.
And I think I just want to touch on, because I'm conscious of time and I really appreciate how much you've given us today, Marcus, is this, because you've talked about this a lot, and it is so, I mean, I've been there on my own journey with this too, we call it like the transition to the new you.
Yeah.
Because if you want to move your business, if you want to do something in your life that you've never done before, a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, the strategies, the tactics, they're all important. Of course they are. They have a place, and we, you know, they are, as, you know, very important. At the same time, if you want more, you actually have to become a different person, don't you?
Yeah.
And so it's your thinking and how you use your mind that actually enables you to make that difference. I mean, we call it be the change.
Yeah.
And you've really been touching on this heavily because it's
Oh, I
made,
100% believe it. Like, I sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
Without a doubt, like, because of the 1% changes we're doing, we're tweaking. I'm like, God, for instance, like, I wasn't a big drinker anyway, but when I drank too much, and now I don't drink at all. And that was because of a tweak. And it wasn't like an aha moment or anything like that. It was like, I've been tweaking everything I do in business. I've been tweaking, maybe read more, which, it's made me a better person. I'm like, what happens if I didn't drink? Well, what if I got those 3 foggy hours back on a Monday morning? What's the difference? And that is that's tens of thousands of pounds difference. And it's not, and all those little things have kind of built up. So drinking is one of them, but it's not super relevant, but there's loads of these ones that have just gone, okay, 1% works in my business, like 1% works in my personal life. And okay, so did 1% better with my children, 1%, everything. It's the whole thing is life changing.
Yeah, there's a super cool book. Just want to see if I've got it behind me. Yeah, I have. And so this book changed my life. I don't, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. So anyone that's watching, this is essentially, the same thing, simple disciplines. Anyway, it's an amazing book. You'll hear a lot of people in Rocket and our community talk about that. But that is essentially what it is. And you're right, because, we have to change our characteristics, our habits, our behaviors. We have to change the stories that we tell ourselves, like you were saying, those things that keep us from where it is we actually want to get to.
Yeah.
Because if we want to get something different, we have to take a different set of actions.
Right. You can't do the same thing all the time.
Right.
And everyone says it, and it's really obvious. You're the same person if you do the same thing. You've got to change things up.
You have. And the next step to that is actually focusing on becoming that person who achieves those things. And you have to become that person now. And that is the part that people, in our community are supported with. Because it's like, who do I need to become to achieve those things? What are the good habits that other person has? What are the skills and the strength that new character has? And that is something that I've absolutely seen you embody.
Yeah. Like, I just changed to the core, It's not like changing your job a little bit. It's completely different.
Yeah, definitely. So if anybody is resonating with this, I want to give you a couple of useful questions that you can help yourself with that transition, because what we're talking about here is actually moving into becoming that person that you want to become to achieve the results that you want to achieve. So you need to get clear on who do I need to become to achieve my goal or my dreams, and what skills, what strengths do I need? What would my new character need for me to execute that goal? And what good habits does this person have? And then very importantly, what are the bad habits or the beliefs that this person has got rid of? Because that is what helps you to transform. So Marcus, what a final sort of passing piece of advice to other recruitment business owners who are listening, may also be, look, I want to grow my business next year from wherever it is now to wherever it needs to be. And maybe, they're questioning it. What would your piece of advice be for them?
I mean, the only advice I can give, because like I said, it's life changing for me, not just work changing, that it genuinely, because everyone's got it. It's going to sound really hippie, just so you know where I'm at, like, 9 months ago, I'm still the 17 stone beer swilling rugby player that I was. All this stuff sounds super hippie to me. So I understand that people are coming from that. But if you commit to it, like, we've all got it in us. We're all as good as we can be. We're just not there yet. And committing to this has made me see that. And I just think, if you're thinking about it, you're already at the right ilk for it, because you're already open to it. If you're the finished article, don't bother. But if you're not, and you're committed to making more, being better, wherever you want to, then it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, thank you. And what Marcus is referring to here, what's helped him get this transformation, is the Rocket programs. Marcus, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Mindset is such an important part of everything.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm really grateful to you guys as well. Like I said, I'm happy to do it. It's if it makes it for someone else, then amazing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being with us today, Marcus. Thank you too.
Thank you.
So have a great one, guys. Take care. Thank you again.
Thank you.